Welcome to Net Zero. I'm Ricardo Delgado, climate activist, and today we have an extraordinary new documentary to discuss, Canary. Canary tells the history of Dr. Lonnie Thompson, the distinguished scientist who embarked on a mission to research the planet's highest glaciers. His pioneering work illuminated the evidence of climate change's far-reaching impact. Joining us today to discuss Canary are Dr. Lonnie Thompson, the subject of the film, and the producer of the film, Adam Paul Smith. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much, Ricardo.
Lonnie, reflecting on your work and your remarkable career, what would you say are the most significant lessons that you have learned along the way?
If I had to put it down in one word, I would say the importance of being persistent and overcoming obstacles that are put in your way.
Adam, could you share what inspired you to embark on a 5-year journey to produce Canary? What do you believe his history is so crucial?
Well, I didn't know it would take 5 years to make. Who could have predicted what transpired over the last 5 years? A global pandemic shutting down the world, along with many other hurdles that we have had to overcome. But I think the same thing that kept us going over the years is the same thing that got us started to begin with. What we have in Canary is an incredible story told in a way that we feel has the power to truly move people and move us on an issue that is arguably the biggest we face as a species on the planet. Now that sounds heavy, and that's because it is, but the amazing thing about Canary is that we have Lonnie Thompson. We have Lonnie to look at as an example of how to not let the weight of a challenge stop you.
The next few years, those ice fields are going to be gone.
Lonnie, in Canary, you outline 3 options for addressing the climate crisis: reducing greenhouse gases, adapting to climate change, or suffering the consequences. If you were in a position to lead climate action programs, which of these options would you prioritize and why?
Well, the number one thing we need to do is to price carbon, fossil fuels, their true cost for health, cost for climate damage. That needs to be reflected in the price of the fuel. And if we have increase the price of the fuel, the consumption will go down, and we will be able to reduce the current rates of carbon dioxide emissions into our atmosphere.
Adam, how do you envision Canary contributing to the global conversation and moving the needle to inspire action?
Well, what's inspiring? Sheer grit and determination, doing things other people think can't be done, overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds, a clarity of vision to set your sights on a big goal, and having the determination to make it happen.
At what cost knowledge? Is it worth a human life? And
that is what Canary delivers.
Certainly.
On top of that, we intentionally did not want to leave the audience feeling inspired and not know where to place that energy. So we built a campaign that you can find at canaryfilm.com. We've set up what we call an inspiration engine, where we hope inspired audience members will find actions taken by others and try them out in their own way, and in turn submit their actions and let their actions go on to inspire others.
Lonnie, countries are already dealing with the consequences of climate change. What do you consider to be key adaptation measures to address the impacts of climate change, and how can we ensure that vulnerable communities have the support they need?
Adaptation can only take us so far. We have to deal with the real problem. We have to make changes in the way we use our water resources, the way we sustain cities and communities. And I think these are the real challenges. We just returned from the Calcaya ice cap in the Andes in Peru. And we first met with indigenous people in the village of Fanaya. And it turns out that in that community, they have their alpaca that live at high elevation, and they depend on the water coming from the glaciers, especially during the dry season and during times of drought. One of the good things that have come out of our 50 years of studying the Calcaya ice cap is that this year, the Peruvian government has set that region aside as a geopark preserve. And now they have tourists coming in to see how climate is impacting this ice cap, which is the largest tropical ice cap on Earth. But unfortunately, this will be short term because in the long-term projection, Calcaya ice cap will disappear, as will most mountain glaciers around the world.
Adam, how did you approach the portrayal of adaptation efforts in the film? And what do you hope audiences take away from this aspect of Canary?
We portrayed adaptation in a few different ways in the film. Let's consider the example of Lonnie Thompson himself. He has, throughout his life, had to adapt and evolve. No one could have guessed that a poor kid growing up in coal country, West Virginia, would go to college and go on to become not only one of the greatest explorers of our time, but also one of the leading climate scientists in the world. There's one particular scene at the base of Calcaya in Peru where a group of leaders in a local village come to visit Lonnie to share their story. And in hearing them tell their story, it gives us a chance to care. And we need to care in order to act.
Lonnie, when introducing the film to an audience, if you only had 1 minute to convey what Canary is about, how would you summarize the essence of the film?
The essence of the message is that we all need to make a difference. We have to reach thousands, millions of people. So when the opportunity to produce Canary came up, this was an opportunity to tell a story of climate change, but also to inspire the next generation of young people. And if we all try, we can make a difference. The message in the film is really about hope.
Adam, how would you summarize the essence of the film?
The thing I love most about this film is that the message is not just an alarm bell. The message is clear. We have a problem, and then only through facing it do we have a chance of solving it. Lonnie talks about his experience with people all over the world and our nature to solve anything we set our sights on. We just have to be clear on our objective, not get dissuaded by those who will try to get in our way, and take it step by step to achieve our goal.
Thank you, gentlemen. This has been an enlightening conversation. I wish you both lots of luck with Canary. And this is Ricardo Delgado Lander. I add my voice to the voices of my Net Zero international youth peers to monitor the actions of world leaders to achieve net zero commitments.